If you want to have some sort of idea of how this is all just a complete grift, look no further than this schmuck right here. Kid Rock has already shown the Rock the Country Festival is lowering ticket prices because people don't care. They don't want to go to this. They are not interested in this. So, what does he do now that he is in the MAGA sphere? He does stuff like this.
How are you, brother? Mr. Secretary, what are you doing here, sir? I'm going to your show tonight. No shit. Awesome. We'll jump in. I'll give you a ride. Well, I appreciate that. But how about I give you a ride?
That is what you all are paying for. That is what I am paying for. That is what we are paying for. Oh, yeah, this Rock the Country Festival is really not selling. And it's basically a MAGA festival with Kid Rock, Jelly Roll, Jason Aldean being the main headliners. So, you know what we should do in order to try and get some notoriety around this thing? Let's waste more tax dollars. Let's show how this entire operation within this administration is an absolute grift. And let's use the military to promote my tour that I am already failing to sell. Now, this does follow a trend as we saw previously too with Kid Rock. Do you think this is worthy? Do you think this is a good thing to do? How would one feel? You ready? If Barack Obama took an Apache helicopter, he's friends with Jay-Z. All right. Takes an Apache helicopter, goes to New York City, and goes towards right by Jay-Z's top floor penthouse mansion. And Jay-Z has the camera set up or someone set up to film it. And Jay-Z salutes an Apache helicopter that was sent by Barack Obama. How would one feel about that? What would the reaction from Sean Hannity be? Hell, what would the reaction from Stephen A. Smith be? Idris Ali, who was with Reuters covering the Pentagon, said a U.S. official confirmed that this indeed did happen, and the Army is investigating how it happened. Guys, you don't have to investigate that far. And here's the other crux of all of this. You guys are saying that you have to investigate. You can't even investigate yourselves. How many audits have they failed in a row? In a row. This is like the cops investigating themselves. So Kid Rock did face backlash for this. Let's give credit. This is via Mandatory's Namrata Ghosh. Kid Rock faced backlash for posting the video himself cheering on an Apache helicopter that flew by his home. The clip was captured, which captured a private military flyby, has sparked debate online because this took place right outside of his Nashville, Tennessee home. And here's the thing, guys. I thought that this entire administration was all about waste, fraud, and abuse. I thought Big Balls is on the case. I thought that we were trying to save money. No, you idiots, you were played. All of you were played. Not only did they steal sensitive data and likely has all of our personal information. which somehow we've just overlooked because it is a swarm of non-stop BS from this administration every single day, where there are no guardrails anymore. And as Steve Bannon once said on his show on Real America's Voice, which also hosted the Charlie Kirk show, they're going to flood the zone. And what he meant by that is do everything, where it seems like the media, as we are seeing it decay in real time, newspapers being bought out by private equity and bankrupted on purpose, journalists being laid off left and right, more independent ventures coming up, but really the only way for independent journalists, reporters, creators, etc., to make a living and keep themselves above water is by getting subscriptions. I mean, it's just bad and it's getting worse. There is so much news that the media can't keep up with it because the industry is dying and others just can't even cover everything all in one day. And this is part of it because, once more, they all said that it was going to be waste, fraud, and abuse that they were going after. That is total BS. It was a smokescreen. And you still have Elon stands, whether it's on practically 4chan Twitter or Reddit, defending him every single day, including the Rogan sphere. So here is what, let's give credit here, Gil Kaufman of Billboard wrote. At the time, it was unclear what the purpose of the fly around and the $52 million piece of military hardware that can cost up to $7,000 an hour to keep in the air was for. Well, it turns out we know now it was to film a commercial promoting Rock's Freedom 250 tour. That's what it was for. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jelly Roll backed out from one of your stops on your tour. You're having trouble selling. You're reducing ticket costs by 50% and pissing off the people that paid 100%. Yeah, let's help you out here, man. I have more on this grift in a moment. The tour kicked off in Dallas, and the video that I just played was served up to everybody in attendance. And basically, what happened was Hegseth did that stupid acting. How about I give you a ride? This is gross, man. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Rolling Stone is actually doing some of the best journalism out there. Put aside the frustration inherent in watching your tax dollars go to waste. Pumping up a geriatric pop country star goes, damn, latest publicity tour. AH-64 Apaches only cost around $7,000 per hour to fly, which in the grand scheme of the U.S. military budget is not so much a drop in the bucket as a grain of sand in the Sahara. More noteworthy is the chummy cronyism on display between Kid Rock and Hegseth. The Trump admin has always been desperate for cultural allies, and if Kid Rock is the best they can do, they might not exactly be winning the battle for the hearts and minds of the American people, but that doesn't stop them from trying. And Kid Rock's tour promo could in some ways be a beacon to other artists. Look at the access and favor we'll grant you if you toe the party line. See, this is exactly it. This is perfectly put. The Trump administration is open for business. They have said it over and over again. And I'll give you a primo example of something that should not happen that is happening. David Sachs, who was part of the PayPal mafia, along with Elon and other terrible people like Peter Thiel. Peter Sachs, in a podcast, said, I have never had a direct line to the president. Yeah, because that shouldn't effing be. You should not have a direct line to the president. The reason why in the past there were at least some barriers to getting a security clearance is because you can be easily compromised. As we have seen, Donald Trump is easily compromised by money. That's it. That's all you have to do. Put money into his crypto venture, you could get laws passed in your favor. Joe Rogan, as a matter of fact, said, hey, this one thing is bad. And Trump even gloated in a press conference where Joe Rogan, all 5'4" of him, was standing behind Trump. And Trump said, yeah, Joe texted me, hey, do you need FDA approval for that? That's not how this should be. But the Trump administration is so desperate at all times to try and win back favor that they will use anybody and anything to try and do it. Luckily for them, the list is short, and I believe it's getting shorter. So take the Lil Waynes. I don't care. If I wanted to see him, I would go back to high school me when the Drought mixtapes were out. Kid Rock, last relevant on MTV with Ball with a Ball. And even then, he had pedo style lyrics in Osmosis Jones. So you knew who he was and you knew what he was about. Go ahead and take him. Take the N word slinging, has been semi country guy. You could have him. But what this shows once more is access and manufacturing consent. Both parties are in on it, and they will do whatever it takes, by any means necessary, to continue serving their own purposes.